have always struggled to find my place in this world. Maybe the true beauty of this life is that I don't fit in. So welcome to my little corner of the universe. This is season 3 of Basement Philosophies, where I share my life and my experiences and allow others to share their experiences as well, in an effort to help others feel less alone in this world.
This is my story.
Oh my gosh. Boy, does life happen. Hello, everybody, from my little corner of the universe. I have missed this. You have no idea how much. It is crazy to me how life happens. It is crazy to me how crazy life is, how unpredictable life is. I had no idea that I would be gone that long. You know, I was just going to take the 2 weeks off during, I think, Christmas, was it? And I don't know. Everything just went down, and practicum kicked my ass, and internship, not as bad as practicum, but I'm still in the middle of all of it, still unpaid, working more, slightly behind because maybe you're not aware, my daughter was very, very sick since, she was born, and we had no idea. She had no heart murmur to let anybody know that she was sick. She went into her wellness exam, and honestly, I think it was maybe 6 days later, she ended up having to have emergency open heart surgery. Can you believe it? I still can't. I will go into all of that. That'll be a conversation we can have all by itself, because 1, I'm not ready to talk about it, and 2, I want to be able to talk about it more thoroughly, and also in a very loving and kind and caring and educational way, so that I'm not really scaring anyone about their own children, because I don't want any parent to worry unnecessarily when they don't need to, because parenting is hard enough, right? Oh God. Now it's like 100 million times more scary too, because, congenital heart defects, it's kind of, with her diagnosis anyway, it's kind of like a lifelong thing. So, but she's doing well. She's thriving. Our next appointment will be May 4th. And we'll just see what happens there. But so far, she's doing good. She's not quite crawling yet. She is, obviously not walking, but she's so close. And she's so frustrated because she's not doing any of these things. But it is, it's amazing to see her grow and thrive. She has so much energy, and she really is. She's still a chill baby. She's still a happy baby. That part was true. It's just now she's different. She's healthier, and you can see the difference. She's growing, and I'm fascinated with her. She is amazing. Momming is still super hard. I don't think I've ever led anyone to believe that the transition for me from me to motherhood was ever easy. There are women that can do it all. There are. And how they do it, I don't know. But for me, no, I can't do it all. And I was telling a friend today, I had to basically say, look, this mom thing doesn't come naturally to me. I'm doing the best I can. I love being Quinn's mom, but it does not come naturally. In fact, it's very hard. And I will say it again and again, because it is. Being a mom is hard work. It is so hard. And especially now, she's so mad all the time. She's mad 100% of the time because she can't move. I don't know if she's bored or just frustrated with everything. I'm not really sure. Maybe her back teeth are coming in. I really don't know what's the problem. I really think it's the crawling in the thing, because she tried pulling herself up, and she barely tried, and she was so mad because she didn't do it, and she just threw a fit. And I was like, oh my God. And I do feel for her. I really do, because she's just so mad. And I don't know. It's crazy. It's wild. Life is crazy. But anyway, welcome to season 3 of Basement Philosophies. Like I said, inadvertently, this is season 3 because I didn't know it was going to be that long, but I was like, might as well make it a fresh start, new season, new me, even though I'm kind of like the same, except not, maybe more gray hair, maybe more wrinkles, but I'm definitely thriving. I'm not falling apart, not letting the world just take me and I just have to roll with the punches. No, I'm taking my power back, and that is that. So that is kind of the season that I am in. You know, I was under this impression, and I think I've talked about it before, that I was under this impression that I was powerless, and I wasn't quite sure where that came from, and I'm still not sure like what the core belief there is. Probably ties into self-worth like everything else. So annoying. But it's so strange because I thought for a moment, for quite some time, that I was powerless. And I'm not entirely sure like where that stems from, but you know, it's still nevertheless there. And so I've really been trying to focus on that area. Not a lot, you know, I'm not stressing so much about what to fix and what to do. It's more about breaking out of this mindset that I've been in, that I'm so limited, because I still believe that I am just this very small, limited person, not capable of doing anything. And so I stay very small. But, you know, in my heart of hearts, I know it's not true, but there's still a part of me that still acts in this way. And I'm just like, why am I like this? You know, and when you start to work on things like self-worth, it's such a complex thing. And, you know, I've always, you know, yes, I have a lot of fear, things like that. But even this podcast, for example, it's still a very vulnerable place for me. It's still something that I don't like to advertise as much because it's like embarrassing. I don't know. It really is. Like, who am I? Like, who cares about my life kind of thing. But ultimately, it's like my very live, non-private diary, right? I think this is just something that I feel called to do. It's just something that makes me feel better about my life. It helps me to create a platform to let people know that they are not alone. And like, I'm not afraid to say the terrible things here. Like, who says that mothering doesn't come naturally to them? You know, I've never heard anybody say that except like very close friends, you know, and they wouldn't dare say it to anyone else because, you know, it's a safe space. And while this is a safe space for me, I know that people will come at me. It's so easy to feel less than. It's so easy to, you know, convince yourself that you should be a certain way, that you should be doing certain things, that you shouldn't be saying certain things, kind of like that. It's like so many rules, right? But here, there aren't really any rules. This is where I'm going to say the things that I need to say just because I don't want to carry it all alone. I don't want to carry it because that can manifest in its own different ways. You know, I go to therapy for lots of different reasons. You know, after my daughter got sick and she had her surgery, and like now we watch her and monitor her and her symptoms. It came with this highly anxiety, and I was really, really struggling in that, and I still am. You know, I've always had a healthy, you know, bout, like maybe like a healthy level of anxiety, but this anxiety, it was just kind of taking over. And like even near her appointments, every time I get so scared, like so nervous. I shut down in a way. I'm not very nice, and it comes out as like anger, and my fuse is really short. Everything's really annoying. Like, it's like PMS on steroids. And it's such a weird thing that when I'm so scared that it comes out as anger. And, because anger, it's that secondary emotion. So under my anger, it's fear. I'm very, very scared when I get near those doctor's appointments because, I just don't want anything to be wrong with my little girl. And I know it's a natural response, a natural trauma response to something that was very traumatic for all of us involved, especially little Quinn. And I can't imagine what that does to a little baby. I don't even like to think of it. Like, I'm just not ready, I know I keep bringing it up and I'm like not ready to talk about it. But, yeah, it's just this anxiety. So that's what I've been trying to work on. I'm trying to like balance and do all the things. So it's just like, I have to do like a body scan, a mental body scan, at least 15 minutes a day, or try to at least. So I have done it a little bit, and it does put me in a very relaxed state. It's just, I'm not really sure what's supposed to happen in like regarding this exercise. Like, it's just a exercise my therapist gave me. So I will keep you updated. But so I just do body scans. I started like working out, not a ton because, I have lower back issues, but I just been doing like 15 minutes a day and I started to feel really good. Like, I'm starting to feel really good about just my little 15 minutes because it's not like I'm obsessed with the way my body looks, but I've lost way too much weight because I don't eat. So like baby weight gone, but not in like a necessarily great way. But I'm working out to simply feel better, to burn off that anxiety, and it is really helping. So if you struggle with anxiety, try these little exercises because it's working for me. This isn't coming from like a professional opinion. This is like me doing it because I have struggles, like so many struggles. I have like this inkling maybe that therapists are the most fucked up of us all, and that's why we want to help people. Kind of like how they say comedians are like the most depressed. They want to make people laugh because they have no joy. I'm wondering if like our lives have been so fucked up that we want to help other people not make the same mistakes. Because like I have a group chat with two of my favorite girls. They're doing internship with me, and we were kind of like talking about our lives, like especially like relationships. And I was like, wow, we're all really fucked up. And I can't help but wonder like if that's like why we're in this profession. I don't really know. I don't think anybody with the perfect life is like, hey, I'd really like to be a therapist. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. So really like what I'm doing now is I'm just trying to maybe build as part of my life that's just for me. And that's not to take away from my family. It's just I have pretty much sacrificed everything to take care of, my family, my daughter. And I, even now saying it, like, I still think it should be that way. Like, of course, all of my time goes to Quinn and keeping my household a very peaceful, loving environment. And I did kind of get lost in that role, and I forgot about myself in the process. And because of that, it has caused me to just have this like mood, and it's not a good one. And it's not anybody's fault. Nobody's to blame, really. It's just something that happened. And now I'm in this position where I'm making a lot of assumptions. I'm just very tired, very resentful, for no good reason other than that I don't know how to ask for help, or I don't think that I should have to ask for help, or I think I should be better, the should game. And I'm just playing this game with myself, and it's a horrible feeling. And I'm not building myself up. In fact, I'm like really tearing myself down. And I knew I didn't want to live like that anymore. And I knew like something had to give. And I'm telling you this story because I'm beginning to work on it. Not that I've worked on it and like now everything's better. So I will be sharing this shift, this change in real time, because I think it's important to really share like the true nature of it all. Because what I don't want this space to be is me like giving life advice. I want to tell my story. I want people to tell their stories. You know, like the spiritual community is like really fucked up right now. It's like they have all these life lessons and they think they know everything. Like I don't want to be that. And I'm even seeing a lot of like therapists teaching people like stuff. I don't know. Like everybody is so different. Everybody is so different that I don't think that you could do that really. I don't know. I think they have good intentions, but it's like these generalized statements are the problem, I think. And people thinking they know everything. It's like the equivalent of, you know how like in movies when there's new medical students and they're diagnosing people and they're just like way overthinking it. Like it looks like a bunch of new like mental health professionals are getting online and doing that. If being an intern has taught me anything, it's that I don't fucking know anything, okay? And it's starting to change me in so many different profound ways. And I'm showing up in my own life, and I'm showing up at work in a much different and a much, I think, better way. When before I thought I had to have all the answers, that I had to instill some sort of wisdom. But that's not really the goal. And I don't want that to be something, I don't want to put that weight of that on my shoulders. And I do not want the karma that comes with being someone that does that, you know, like, because if you're going to call yourself a spiritual teacher, like, you better be fucking careful because, wow. So I never want this space to feel like I am coming from a place where I know more, I've experienced more, like I know better. Because the truth is, I don't. I'm a fucking human, and I think we all need to remember that we're human. People are getting so lost, especially in the spiritual world. And I just think that we all just need to calm down and get grounded. There was a podcast I was listening to, and this girl, I really like her. I do. And her latest episode came out, and, you know, I'm not denying that she has a lot of gifts, and she has done a lot of like experimental work with psychedelic drugs and things like that, which fine, I'm not against that either. Like, in fact, I was like actually interested in it until it became like so mainstream, and now I'm just like, never mind, like I'll just do something else, because now I don't trust it. Like, it's just too mainstream. But she even said, you know, she's like, I thought that therapy was like a crock of shit, and I thought I found like the solution. I was like fast tracking my way through using psychedelics, and in a way, yes, maybe some parts you can. I think it like does change like neural pathways at a quicker rate, but you have to be like really careful. I'm not condoning this. I'm just saying this is what I heard. Also, I'm not a medical professional, so don't go out and do that. I'm just telling you what I know. But anyway, so she's just saying like, yeah, I just, you know, who needs therapy kind of thing. But then ultimately she found that she actually did, because she was getting so caught up in the like esoteric spiritual world that she was just not grounded anymore. And, you know, it's like almost like, in me personally, it felt like almost that she was forgetting that she was an actual human being, and it was just like teetering on the side of delusional and very unhealthy. But thankfully, she's kind of snapped out of it. And she didn't say it was delusional by any means. That was just like my own opinion. But I was just like, she's getting lost. Like, it seems like she's getting lost. So I kind of backed away from her. But then, I guess something like popped up. And I was like, let me listen. And, she ended up saying, like, yeah, I needed therapy. Like, there's some trauma there. And it's not all about, the psychedelic drugs and things like that. So, it was really nice to hear, like, she was vegan and now she's not. Like, she understood that her body, just needed something different, because people will, like, become vegan and just, like, stay vegan, even if they're deficient. And people don't understand that as your body grows, as your mind changes, as your environment changes, like, what your body needs changes too. So maybe vegan does work for a period of time, but then your body, your chemistry changes, because we're always changing, we're always evolving. So, like, veganism maybe can't last forever, and that's okay. It's okay to change, it's okay to be wrong, it's okay to change your mind. And we just live in a very black and white society right now, and it's just a very dangerous place. Like, our world, it's very hard to be here. It's very hard to exist in this world, and not be judged or ridiculed or attacked even. So it's just crazy. It's either like, you believe the same things I do, or I cannot function. It's so unhealthy. It's such a weird place to be right now. And even I got lost in it for a minute there. And once I pulled myself out, and ultimately, as I hate to say this cliche thing, but ultimately when I started to look at the world as a stage, everything became a little less scary. Because if the world's going to end, it's going to end. There's nothing I can do about that. But what I can do is live my life in a way, in a very loving, meaningful way. And I can change myself and get my health under control, take care of my family, and just live our best life for as long as I am here. And that's just kind of like what I focus on now. And learning, like, I'm looking at my life and learning from it each and every day. And it's just, am I always present? No, but I believe this time in my life I'm more present than I have ever been, even though it's very, very hard. Because there are times when sometimes Quinn, she takes like 2 naps a day still, and sometimes I'm just waiting for the next nap, because she is just so exhausting sometimes. But I remember laying in bed the other night, and I was just like, I have to stop waiting for the next nap, or this life of mine is going to pass me by. And I've noticed that, like, I'm always looking ahead. Like, if only I could just graduate, then I'll be this. If only this, all these things in the future. And I'm just trying to slowly get back in the present moment. Like, because my life is here now. And I know you hear that all the time, but it's so true. And, everybody's just telling me, Quinn won't be small forever. So really value this time with her, savor it. And I do, because I get so sad when she's growing, and not sad, like bittersweet, because she's growing and she's my girl and she's thriving, and that's amazing. But she's also growing, and that's my little girl, and she's not going to need me, so it's just crazy. It's just crazy how the life is, and motherhood, and all the things. And so I'm learning to be, like, so present, and I'm understanding that I don't have any of the answers, and I probably never will. And that has been very freeing. And just to create a place of support where people feel less alone, where people don't feel judged, like, that's all I want. A little place of reprieve, so that this world just because the world just kicks you while you're down, and it's just such a big test all the time. And so there has to be a breaking point. There has to be a break. So maybe I can't change the world, but I can change this corner of my world, and I can make it as loving and as supportive and as non-judgmental as I possibly can. And I do that slowly with small changes. And it starts with being honest with myself, like brutally honest, and not in an ugly way, just honest, and not interacting with people that are toxic, and only interacting with people that feel right to me. And and I've really been wanting to connect with other women. Like, I've missed sisterhood so much. I've missed it so much. And I told two of my girls, we were on a group chat, and like, I woke up this morning and I was like, blah blah blah, I still can't get over like what you said. And then this turned into like a morning conversation on text, like a group chat, just girl talk this morning over coffee. And it was so amazing. And I even told them, I was like, waking up this morning and having girl talk was just what I needed. Like, this was fucking amazing. And I want more of that. I want to be with girls, I want to laugh and talk and cry or do whatever. And it was just a really great moment. And it just seems like everybody that I love the most does not live near me. And I wish they did. I really do. But so I'm just, asking the universe, like, to make these connections happen for me, so that I can be in a less isolated place. Because motherhood in the Western society, it isolates you. Something so beautiful can be so taxing on like your mind and just everything. It's motherhood in the West is isolating, and it's crazy that happens, because it just seems like the system is just not built for motherhood. And I believe that we can change that. I know that I want to, and I'm starting a little by little, but it's true. It's so isolating. And so for me to have this little talk over coffee, it was like a really big eye-opener in how isolating motherhood can be. And I don't know if it's like my fault. I don't know if it's anybody's fault or what. All I know is that like this Western society, this society of needing to have it all, is just destroying families and women and men, it's just destroying everybody, because you don't need it all. You don't. Because if you're working all of those hours and you have the cars and the money and you're just so afraid of losing the money, what have you won? What do you have? And so I am working through all of that too. Like this idea of what I want and what I need. And it's strange because even like having this discussion, it almost feels like, yeah, well, in order to have less stress, then you just need less. And I don't know if that's coming from a mentality of lack, which I tend to do. I think that you can have, anything that you want. It's just allowing yourself to have those things and being willing to work for them. I wish, and I don't know how manifestation works, but, I wish that I could be in the right state of mind and things just came to me. But I think you have to do a little work, right? And I'm really just trying to navigate that. Like, what do I actually want in this life? And what are some ways that I can get that? And I think then the universe might open some doors for me. But it's like I'm still juggling like what I want, right? And then allowing myself to have those things. There's been a big, maybe even my whole life, where I thought that, well, that can't possibly be for me. Why would it? It's part of the reason why I didn't go to medical school, because I can't be a doctor. I remember telling myself that I'm not smart enough, to be a doctor. And then, as far as the work I'm doing now and having my own business, everybody will tell you, don't open your own business, especially now. And I wonder, like, do I want to listen or to take the easier route? Like, what do I want to do? And so now I'm just thinking about like all the things that I really want to do. And then, it goes with everything, because I'm just like, well, why would I do that? Because of course that wouldn't work for me. I understand that people are traveling the world and they make all this money and they have, passive income and all of these things, especially around like finances. And I'm just like, well, that's them. That's not me. But I'm slowly shifting this mindset into, but like, what if it's me? Why can't it be me? I'm instilling some hope that my life can actually change and that I don't need anybody to make that change. And one of the other things, I have student loans. And, as someone that's about to graduate, I'm really thinking about that debt. And it's like a lot. And I'm just like, I was under this assumption, like, student loans, like, I don't count that as debt, but it's like pretty much my only debt at the moment. And I want to pay it off. And there was a part of me that's like, oh, well, I'm always going to have that. But now I'm asking myself, what are some ways that I could pay this off faster? And then I put it out there. I put it out in the universe. Like, what are some ways that I can just get rid of this as fast as possible? Instead of just accepting that, this is my life with this debt. And I'm doing that with like all of these common beliefs, these core beliefs that I've, pretty much accepted. And so I'm getting to this place where I'm starting to be like, okay, I understand that I've accepted this, but why have I accepted them? And what can I do to change it? And I will keep you updated, but like, that's where I'm at. And it's just, it's just like a slow process. You want things to change so quickly. I understand, especially when you're in like a bad position. And I think it just doesn't happen that way. I have spent my entire life believing things. So to break that stuff down, it's going to take a little time. And I don't know, it gets really exciting. Like, I'm not scared. I'm very excited about this change that I'm making. But I also know that the change is complex. And, you do want changes to happen fast. But I think me being aware is like even just the beginning, and it's fun and it's exciting. And so like, I'm really happy to be in this place where I can explore, because like I said, being a mom has been so isolating for me, especially like, being a student at my age, being a mom at my age, I became very obsessed with time. And I'm just like, I'm too late in life. But I'm not too late. This is just my mind, right? And I'm just like, how did I get here? What, and where do I want to go? So to circle back to what I was saying, I have managed to sacrifice everything my entire life over and over and over again, to the point where I give up everything, that my life becomes so limited, which is very hard for me because I need my freedom. Freedom is so important to me. So the big question right now is, why do I keep doing this to myself? What is the purpose of this? And the only connection that I have made so far is that my self-worth is very much tied to how I take care of people in my life. So I'm willing to give up everything to be worthy of anything, right? And finances play a huge role in that. And as you know, like I don't get paid. I work all this time and you don't get paid for it. That's a whole other issue. But my point is, I guess, and I'm thinking that because I cannot offer anything financially, I will give up everything to prove my worth, kind of thing. And that's what my self-worth is tied to. And now that I've done this, not only have I lost the sense of myself, but this sense of freedom that has been lost because I live such a limited life. I really, really do. And it's nobody's fault but my own. I put myself in this position. What I'm trying to navigate now is why? Why do I keep doing that? And essentially, it sounds like I answered my question, but I'm getting something out of doing that, but I don't know what I'm getting because this doesn't feel good. And it's not the first time that I've been in this situation. I mean, I'm even in a situation where, I've said it before. I have a daughter that doesn't even have my last name. I don't even have my own vehicle. I don't live, in my own house, kind of thing. It's just like there's nothing that's mine. Yes, that's my daughter, but I've even since given my own last name away, which, it's not that I don't want her to have the last name of her father. No, it's not that. It's just, look how far I'm willing to go to give up everything just to not, just to do whatever it is I'm trying to do, which I don't know what it exactly is, if that makes sense. I don't know. I'm kind of like processing and integrating like live right now, and it's like makes no sense, right? This is, if you're ever wondering what it's like to be my therapist, it's just like that. It's so flighty and horrible, and I just feel sorry for any therapist that ever has to see me. But yeah, so that's like what I've been doing. Like, it's where I'm starting out, honestly. I have been in survival mode for since Quinn was born. Okay, so she's 11 months now. And I'm finally gotten to a place where, well, yes, it's still kind of survival, but I'm starting to be able to think about different things. And I've suddenly kind of lifted out of this fog and realized, wow, what have I done to my life? Why have I made these decisions? And what am I gaining from always doing this to myself? And essentially, what can I do to get out? So stay tuned, because that will be something we will be all discovering together. So, yeah, that's what's been going on. Crazy. So I definitely still want to have guests. It's so crazy. Right before Quinn's surgery, before she went into the hospital, I was lining it up. Like, my girl was coming over. We were starting, we were going to start recording, and sure enough, that whole thing happened. But yes, there is going to be guests because people can only listen to my story for so long. Am I right? And I came up with an idea. I don't know if it's going to work, but I think it's fucking brilliant. And I'm just going to say, I'm going to title it Days of Our Lives series. So that is to come, and it's going to be epic. And we're going to talk about everything here. Everything. We are going to talk about everything, because here there are no rules other than be kind to one another, because the world needs more kindness. I cannot express that enough. And yeah, so we're going to talk about everything here. Everything, because nothing's off the table. and I'm really, really excited about what's going to go down here. If you have any questions at all, feel free to contact me, basementphilosophies@gmail.com. Yep, all that's still the same. I do have my blog, but again, I need to get it fixed. If you know anybody that is good with web design or anything like that, send them my way because I'm looking to upgrade that. And if there's anything that you want to talk to me about, any questions that you have, please feel free to reach out. And if there's any way that I can pray for you, please reach out and let me know how I can make that happen. Thank you all so much for being here, and I'm so happy to be back. Talk to you all soon.